Here's Brody Brazil.
So we're kind of in that post-Summer Olympics hangover phase. Paris 2024 is all done. It's going to be almost another 4 years until we get the Summer Olympics again. And it's exciting because the next time around, it'll actually be in Los Angeles, California. And I know you know this because you've clicked on the video, but can you believe flag football is going to be an Olympic sport in 2028? Those words coming out of my mouth. Well, let me just say it again because it's so crazy to me. Of all the things, and I know they've been unique in recent years, look at breakdancing in 2024, but flag football, of all things, is going to be an Olympic sport on both the men's and women's side in 2028 in Southern California. I think it's great. Let me explain it a little bit. I'll get to how the league, the NFL, is associated with this, and then I'll get to some takeaways eventually. But this is the first time, obviously, that flag football will be an official event, not even an Olympic demonstration like actual football has been. This is an official event with medals and everything to go along with it. There's men's and women's teams and sides. Actual football has only ever been an Olympic demonstration sport, and it hasn't even been that in almost 100 years. Twice it's happened, in 1904 and 1932. They tried football. They realized it just wasn't for the Olympics. I think for the Olympics, it's too physical. There's too much contact, too much risk of injury. It's not a global enough game. And really, let's be honest, it never has been. I know they've tried the NFL Europe, but football is very much a North American thing. And that's why in 2022, the NFL, realizing that they're trying to spread out globally, the league itself launched something called Vision 28, which was a specific campaign to get flag football in the Olympics for 2028. So if you're wondering, is the NFL in on this or not? Are they part of this? Would they push for it? Yeah, they've been on this case for a couple years. They're the driving force behind it. They're getting what they want. And yeah, NFL players are probably going to be involved. More on that in just a second. Here's what I know about the flag football format for the Olympics. And you've seen this, right, in the recent Pro Bowl, whatever we call them now, events. Like they've gone away from actual Pro Bowl football. They do Pro Bowl flag football. Here's the Olympic format from what I can understand. 5 players per side, which I think is 1 or 2 fewer than traditionally what we've seen and how the NFL pulls off flag football. 12-person rosters. The field is 25 yards wide by 70 yards long, 10-yard end zones on each side. They play 2 20-minute halves. It's obviously a 4-down format. It's got a running clock, which turns into a clock that stops inside the 2-minute warning. So there's a lot of familiarity with conventional football, but obviously it's the flag football rules to go along with it. Now, in terms of NFL players, there's a lot to consider here. Interest level, logistics, the business side of it, the potential injury side of it. But I'll say this, the timing works out near perfect for the Summer Games of 2028. I believe the opening ceremonies are July 14th. 2028, so that's right before the start of NFL training camps. You could have players get out there for the Olympics and then morph right into their respective training camps. There's no, baseball has a problem with this, and baseball will be in the 2028 Olympics, but the league, Major League Baseball, is not sure what to do. Do they have to shut down the middle of their season? Do they have to let some players go? How would they do this if they want MLB players to participate? For the NFL, it's no problem. The timing works out just fine. In fact, NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell, he recently called the Olympics a, quote, great opportunity for his league. So, what more do you need to understand that he will probably push for and endorse this opportunity for his players? I'll also say, and look, knock on wood, any kind of injury is possible at any time. We've seen football players get hurt playing flag football. But there's a lot less concern about potential injuries with flag football versus conventional football. No helmet-to-helmet contact, no pads. This is obviously a much more toned-down version of football with the flags, no tackling, obviously. So there's a lot less concern about potential injuries, and that's a factor for, baseball, for an example. Major league teams are worried about pitchers going out there, blowing out their arms, throwing 102-mile-an-hour fastballs in games that are not major league games. And they don't want to pay players that much money and risk them getting injured in what is deemed non-league or exhibition type games, Olympic type games that are away from their professional season. So again, logistically, there's a lot of things in the favor of players to be able to go out and do this. I also think that football realizes, the NFL realizes, it's not a global sport. Very popular in North America, very popular around the world, but where else are there high school football teams and youth football teams? It's not across the globe a very strong sport in where the players come from. Like basketball has grown over the years. Baseball has even grown over the recent years. Soccer has been the world's game for a very long time, but American football, like not European football, American football, that's why they call it American football, because it doesn't really exist globally outside of North America. But what countries would NFL players represent? Like how many different connections are there? Most players are, let's face it, directly connected to the United States. You can find a few others, but how many other countries will there even be? In terms of NFL players, I like the way Tyreek Hill put it. He's big into flag football. He's got his own organization. He said, quote, "To say that I was able to compete for a medal for the U.S., it'd be special. It'd be something dope if NFL players could buy into that." I'm pretty sure they've already bought into that. By the way, look at how he's got the glove. Check that out. I don't want to gloss over that. On his glove right there, it's got the peace sign drawn into he just waves and it's a peace sign. Well done, Tyreek. I can see this catching on very quickly. The other players want a piece of this. So here are my takeaways. Number one, I realize some of you out there watching this video are saying, flag football in the Olympics? Ugh, that doesn't feel right. I know this is going to be criticized by some. And they'll say that it's not the full version of football and it's not the one that people like or appreciate or love, or it's not the true tradition, but it's the only thing that's really going to work for the Olympics. In fact, kind of flag football feels like the only way to get football in the Olympics. There's just not enough teams and world participation and infrastructure to do this on any big scale. Plus, like I said before, I really think the Olympics have shied away from ever adding football, not only because it's not popular enough globally, they're just worried about the physical nature of it. But this, flag football and going to the Olympics, this is something that has the backing of the players and the league and the support of a lot of people. So I think this is obviously going to happen in 28, that players and NFL players will be there. I think they're going to try and push to make this a Summer Olympics thing every 4 years. We've also never really seen NFL players go all in on a flag football game. For example, like, what would this look like? At the Pro Bowl, they're just kind of messing around and, running routes, and there's enough athleticism. You're like, oh, that was a pretty good catch, or man, look at that throw, or look at that whatever, look at that run, look at those jukes. But I think to watch these players know that medals are on the line, Olympic gold is on the line, they're not going to half-ass it, for better words. They're going to give their all. They're going to go all in on flag football. I don't know that we've ever seen that before. I actually expect the competition and the gameplay to be like nothing we've ever seen yet before. I also want to say that as we evaluate flag football, this is kind of the counter to the first point that I made here. Yeah, some people will criticize this and say this is ridiculous, but flag football is the most appropriate and accessible version of football for all audiences, right? Like, this is something that you can more safely get kids into, you can get more fans into. It doesn't cost thousands of dollars per player, like to get young kids into flag football. It's the simplicity of basketball. For basketball, you need a hoop somewhere, but all that you need besides that are some shoes and a basketball. For flag football, you need even less. An open field, a football, and the equipment for flags. That's it. So the accessibility and the appropriate nature and the way that more people could actually get into flag football because it's an Olympic sport, I think there's a lot of benefit to that down the road. So again, I know a lot of people out there who I've been telling this to. Did you know that flag football is going to be an Olympic sport in 2028? Here's generally the reaction I get. Huh? Really? Yeah, it's true. This is happening, and this is going to happen to a large scale, most likely with NFL players involved. Let me know what you think about all this, good, bad, somewhere in between, down in the comments section below. While you're down there, go give me a thumbs up. I would really appreciate that. That helps me, this video, and this channel. I would like that, but I would love it even more if you also went down there right below this video. Make sure you've hit that subscribe button. That way I definitely get to see you back here next time.